Hi, it's Lou with us here. Nice to be here again. Just a little soundbite really about what I'm going to do with this. Simple techniques that we've all probably forgot about or new to some. And it's about using one stamp in several different ways to create a background and a foreground. So it's about simplifying things that we've got at home, using different things and just thinking, right, okay, let's get sort of inspired, and then it leads to other things. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a piece of card here. I'm using stamping card, and it's around 6 inches square. And I'm picking out a stamp that I like, that's to explain. It's got to be something that's not too busy, but interesting. So if I was to say, I quite like this one. And it's like a flower. It's very strong once you get this undone. And it's a flower, so it's got a pattern in its own right, but it's not going to overpower. So, can you just see? It's a lovely pattern. So what I'm going to do then is think about the colours. So I'm going to keep to one colour range. And the colour range could be anything you want. I mean, I love my colour wheel, so I'm going to go with pinks and purples and things. So I have got picked raspberry, which I always get confused and call it pickled, which it isn't. And I've got a scrap piece of paper. Now, I keep this scrap piece of paper later on for other things like bookmarks and things like that. So I have got picked raspberry, and I'm just going to do it lightly, just to show you how lightly it is. I'm just going to stamp it once. Can you see? That even is too light. So let's see about second generation. Perfect. So I'm going to go to what we call a second generation stamp, so that it's not as vibrant, because I don't actually want it that bright yet. Later on maybe, but not yet. So only light tapping on your stamp. I've got a big block to make sure it fits on. Take the excess off, and I'm just going to stamp anywhere as my first. Perfect. Now the third generation stamp, just too faint for me. So I think if you, before you do this, have a little practice about the depth and how strong you want when you're doing your pressure on your stamping, because it might be light pressure or heavy pressure to get that stamp. So again, it's quite strong, so I'm going to go off my page. And I'm going to do a third generation, because to me that's quite nice, that it's quite easy to sort of work in, it's not too heavy. Again, light tapping. You can do this with any of the stamps you've got. You just go with what you want. And just to explain that you need to make sure that the space is around, so it's not just concentrated in the middle, because that will just focus your eye in there. And if we're making a background, then you want it to be over the whole part. So again, light tapping. And again, you can see why this becomes a great bookmark then. If you have got a dark area, it really doesn't matter, because you'll go over that in the end. So light pressure again. And if you really don't like it, because some people really don't like it, it upsets them, the easiest way to do it is just start on the other side, because now you know what you're doing, that's fine. So now what I'm going to do is third generation. And that's 1, 2, 3. And you can just start to see I get an overprint. And creating background papers is great for home decor or anything like that, because you can get the colours of the stuff you've got in your house, and you can then sort of match it up. And this could be created in a picture frame, put it in a picture frame, it's just so versatile. So I hope that's a pretty simple way of doing that. Anyway, I hope it's explained about using different generations. So that's a pattern, an overall pattern, and it's under and over. And there's two things you can do with this. You could either paint with it, or we can go to something else where we can sort of really fill these images up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do first generation stamping. And that is a heavy stamp. And I'm just going to go in the middle. Now that's taken over and it's predominant. So that's the dominant one, even though it's the same colour. I'm just going to focus around the middle. And don't forget to change the direction of your stamp, because 3s, 5s, anything on an odd number is always a better composition. So I'm looking at that, so I know I need to stamp that way. So just take a minute to sort of look. I've got a massive stamp block, which I like that. Some people don't. You know, you choose the best one for you. And have a little look before you stamp how you like it. So I'm just going to do this one here, quite like that there. And I think that just over there. Right, okay, so I've got my 3 in the middle. Got them in the background. So same, one colour, one stamp. All I'm going to do now is going to get spray of water and a little bit of a ink pad. And this is great because I've got lots of friends who love crafting, but they've only just started out, or they might be limited, and we all have limits. You know, we can't all afford lots of things. So if you know you can do amazing things with just a few items, you know, it gets you inspired and you want to do more. So what I'm going to do now is just fill the composition in, and all I'm going to do is just lightly pick up a little bit of this with a little bit of ink, and I'm just going to go inside where the stamp is. And again, it's not obliterating the actual colour, it's actually picking up just the colour on the brush, the same colour as the ink pad, and it's just allowing the edges of the stamp to blend. So there's one. It doesn't take a minute. It's actually really therapeutic. I love doing this. I can't say, I'm not a doctor obviously, but it's very therapeutic for me to sit here and just while the hours away doing this. But I find when I'm doing this already, I get inspired to do other things. I sometimes sit there and think, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, this helps me. This really helps me because this gets me going. So I've put a layer of water down, a layer of ink down, and I have done 1st, 2nd and 3rd generation stamping. And I'm just going to show you now. Whilst this is still wet, what you can do is just at the very edge introduce just ink and create depth. So I'm just going to put this there. If it's dried a little bit, I'll show you actually over here. So I'll get some more ink there because I've not got enough. You don't need too much, and then when I've finished I won't waste that. Oh no, that goes on my bookmark. So what I'm going to do is, this one's pretty dry. This one's pretty dry. So I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to put that there. Now, it looks blotchy to my eye. So what we would do then is get the water and paint the water from the opposite side, and then let it blends in the middle. And capillary action makes it move together like that. So I'll just show you again. If you wanted to, you could change this and put another colour up, but I wanted to keep it really simple for everybody. One colour, one stamp, and just 10 minutes, and it's really nice this. I use this as my mindful time, and you can see now how it's blending out. I love this. Like I say, if you put a darker colour, you could use another colour. I would stick to the colours that are in your range, so it would be a dark purple or a dark pink, and then that way you're not changing it too much. And then I'll just finish up, nearly done. And all depending on another thing, a really important thing is depending on the card you're using as well. So what you do then is this little bit here, spray that, and then just clean it up. And that, believe it or not, once you start painting into that and stamping into it, will be another bookmark. So I hope that one stamp that has created that. And I hope you've enjoyed that. I love doing that, and it's 5 minutes out for you. So if you get a chance, have a go at that. And we'd love to know how you go on with it as well and see what you create, because I like to pinch all your ideas actually. And no, I love seeing what you do. So thanks. See you soon. Bye.